Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 2 is now out, and I have thoughts. And you have ears, so you can listen. And we're gonna go through the good, the bad, the ugly, and characters that got fucking nerfed. Those are my categories of what to talk about. And yes, I took notes, because I have the memory of a fucking goldfish who has been hit in the head one too many times. I have had 5 concussions on my lifetime, so that may be contributing to the memory loss issues, but fuck it, we ball. Anyway, let me start this video by saying, I still believe in Byler.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no.
Byler can still happen, but that's a topic for a separate video. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, overall, thoughts for the season, pretty negative. Volume 1 was very solid. I really liked Volume 1. It was a little messy. There were some things that weren't perfect, but also it was the first couple episodes, so there was time for improvement. There was room to grow. So I thought, Volume 2 was a hot mess. Let's be real, that was disastrous. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. So let's get to the good. The good is a very short list. First off, I really liked what they did with Steve and Dustin. I think we really needed that because watching those characters clash in Volume 1 hurt so bad. And that was a conflict that I really appreciated because they really had to do something about Dustin's trauma from Season 4. They had to bring that in. And I think the way they did that in Volume 1, showing him lashing out, just completely separating himself from the group, not talking to anyone about it, I think that was great. And then the way we saw Steve being upset with Dustin because he could tell that Dustin was like hiding away. Dustin didn't talk to him. I think that was a great way to represent the trauma that Dustin had got, but also the way it was straining his relationship with Steve because Steve could tell that he was withdrawing and refusing to talk about his emotions, and it was just making things worse. Let me just say, I loved the way they handled it. So they're wandering the lab in the Upside Down. And then it's Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, and Dustin. So, of course, Dustin and Steve go one way, Jonathan and Nancy go another way. And Steve and Dustin are throwing insults back and forth. They're fighting. They literally get into a physical fight. Like, everything is just argument after argument. They get into a physical fight, and then Steve just walks away. He's done. And honestly, I loved it. Like, they had to hit the breaking point before they could rebuild. I think that was so well done. And then eventually they come back together because they realize that Nancy and Jonathan are in danger because they just shot the exotic matter, which is a whole nother plot line. But then Steve is being an idiot. He's trying to be a hero. He's trying to run and save Nancy and Jonathan. And Dustin, like, breaks down and is like, no, like, you can't die. I can't have this happen again. That moment, guys, I think that plotline was probably the best written from Volume 1 to Volume 2. Like, I think they did that very well. They paced it well. They built it up in a good way. I loved the way that was done. And then when it finally comes to a head and it finally clicks for Steve, that's where it's coming from. It finally clicks for Dustin. Like, it's finally like finding the root cause of why Dustin is lashing out so badly at Steve. And I love that plotline. I think that was done very well. Next thing on the good list. We got Max back. I've been telling you guys, they would not put her in a coma just to kill her. Like, it doesn't make sense to kill her now if they left her in a coma before. I've been telling y'all. So, of course, we finally get her back. She survives. Now, I love the way that this was done. And one of my worries was this bitch is gonna wake from a coma and she's just gonna start fighting with the gang again. I was so glad when they had her, like, completely like, oh, I can't move. Like, I'm, like, not to be a bitch about realism, but we cannot have Max get up out of a coma that she's been in for 1.5 years and just be, like, fine. So I very much appreciated that they put her in a wheelchair and had her doing nothing for the rest. Like, that's a detail that I think was very important to keep this plot line, in this story in general, at least semi-believable. Because that's what I felt like this season in Stranger Things they were clearly trying to do, is even though it's this fantastical show, it's very much rooted in science fiction. It's not fantasy, it's sci-fi. And I think they really made that clear, especially with the explanation of the Upside Down, which we will get to. But yes, Max overall. And then if we're going to talk about Max, we have to talk about the one other thing that I thought was really good, and that is Holly. Now, honestly, I am so glad they did the Holly recast, because this young actress is doing amazing.
Good job, Kylie. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Like, why is she out acting everybody else in the show? Just saying, she's doing an amazing job. I love everything that they've done with her character. I love the way that she's acted it out. It's very well done overall. That scene where she grabs the fucking boombox and starts like beating up her classmates because they don't believe her. Loved that. I loved her having her little crash out moment. And also I just think overall adding a third Wheeler and adding on a bunch of like, there have been some great parallels to her siblings that I think have really showed that they've showed a lot of good planning on the Duffer Brothers' parts. I think the writing for Holly has been pretty solid. Obviously not everything was perfect, but solid. Now, hate to say it, those are the only things I thought were good in part 2. Now we're going to talk about the bad. This is the stuff that just, it could have been worse, but it's like, it's really... First, let's talk about the coming out scene, because I don't think this was done in the worst way. And I say this as a queer person who did myself have to come out. I liked the way that Will came out. It was awkward. He struggled to get to the point. He's clearly... It clearly was a difficult thing for him. And I appreciate that, because it's not easy to come out. Especially, we're talking about the 1980s. This is a difficult thing for him to do. So him, like, rambling and, like, talking about other stuff, I think that makes sense. I really liked the way they wrote the way he literally says it. I like that. Because he doesn't, like, say, I'm gay. He says he doesn't like girls. He's downplaying it in a way. He's trying to be very safe with his words. And I like the way that was written as a queer person, because no, it's not easy to come out. It's not an easy thing to say. And I think that was well represented. And also he's kind of being forced to come out because like Vecna's using it against him. I don't like that detail. Like forcing someone to come out, I don't appreciate that they did it that way, but I think they did it that way because they felt like they didn't have enough reason for him to come out. I think, here's the other thing, he comes out to literally everyone. We've got the whole gang there. It's like 10 people in the room, and it's like, I don't think it works that way. What I really liked was when they started the scene, he was just with Joyce, just talking to his mom. I think he should have just come out to his mom first. Maybe even, if we want to be crazy, the OG group. It could have been his mom, obviously. His mom needs to be there. Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Max, and Elle. And maybe probably his brother. But we got Steve there. We got Robin there. Robin's important to his journey, but she already knows. She doesn't need to be there. We've got, like, fucking Mr. Clark there. We got Murray there. We got Hopper there. We got Erica there. We got literally, like, everyone on planet Earth. That felt too much. That wasn't the way to do it, because it feels rushed. I also think he should have come out earlier. This is too late. This is far too late. And they're just throwing it out there. Like, the signs have been there all along. But throwing it out there this late is sloppy. It's sloppy. And to throw it out there, oh, now everybody knows. We're just going to throw it in the open. And then the Disney ass hugs, like, I support you, I support you, I support you. I think it would have been better if they all just came up and hugged him instead of saying anything. Like, the gesture should have meant more than the words. Like, everybody, I still love you, That was cringe as fuck. Let's let's be for real. That was, and at the end they're in like the massive hug, but then you see other people, the rest of the characters are standing around because they barely know Will. That's where, again, we're too many characters, and I will talk more about that later, but too many characters. The second bad thing, let's talk about Jancy. So Jonathan and Nancy apparently break up, which is not at all what I got from that scene. I got that they were staying together, as in they were still dating, but that Jonathan had realized that marriage wasn't something Nancy was looking for, so he wasn't going to try and force her into a marriage. But now I'm seeing articles telling me that that was a breakup scene. I would like the Duffer Brothers to explain. Do Nancy and Jonathan know that they broke up? Because I sure didn't. Also, all that emotional buildup. For weeks, we have been told that this season, there's going to be major character deaths. We're not prepared. It's going to be extremely emotional. Volume 2 is just going to really get to you, and it's going to pack an emotional punch. It really didn't. And, like, this is a very good completion of Nancy and Jonathan's arc. Like, this wraps up their major character arcs. For this season, last season, like, this kind of wraps it up. And then they survive. Not one of them dies. It felt like they were building to a death, and neither one of them dies. And there is truly no reason that they should have both survived. I think, honestly, in my personal opinion, I would have liked it if they both died. Done. Because I think if either one of them survives, it adds weird dynamics that I don't want to deal with. But I think they both should have died. But they didn't. And that feels clunky. That doesn't feel like good writing. That feels like we build these characters up. And they're just like, we build these stakes up. But yet all the main characters seem to be getting a happy ending. They're getting their fairy tale forever after. And I don't think that matches with what everything we've been told with all this like build up, this emotional heart. It doesn't match. So I didn't appreciate that. All right, let's talk about the wormhole. So we find out that the Upside Down is not in fact what they thought it was, but rather it is the inside of a wormhole connecting to another dimension, which they're calling, what were they calling it? Like Dimension X or something. I don't even remember. It's not memorable. Here's the thing. I actually do like this as an explanation for the Upside Down. It makes a lot of sense. It does feel like they just decided this season. I wish it felt like there was more planning earlier on. It doesn't. But I do think this is a good way to explain it. I do like this. It just doesn't feel like they planned it in advance. Here's the thing. They did such a shitty job explaining it. We get all the buildup of like Dustin like, oh, don't shoot the thing. I thought it was a shield generator. It's not. And he's figuring it out. And we're waiting for an explanation. Because we see that he's figured it out. So at some point, it needs to be explained to us what the fuck is going on. So then we get this bullshit about exotic matter. But it's not really explained. He's kind of like, it's exotic matter. It's bad. It's holding together the wormhole. We don't get explained what exotic matter is. We don't really get explained much. Like, they kind of explain what the wormhole is, but not exactly. And that's where, not to be a science-brained freak, but if you're gonna make this sci-fi, then you gotta make me believe, and I want you then to explain to me. Explain exotic matter, explain the wormhole, and I felt like they did not do a good job of that. And I know you guys are gonna be like, show, don't tell. Certain things you can't show. Explain to me what exotic matter is. I feel like the reason that this doesn't work as a theory for the Upside Down is because they haven't explained it well enough. And it felt rushed because we get that. Was it the second episode of Volume 2? Like, so we don't have a lot of time to sit with it before this show is going to end. And I think that's the problem here, is they're really rushing this ending, and it's clear. Last thing on the bad list, I have loved the character of Eleven. She has really been the heart of the show. What was going on this season? they like ripped the emotions from her. And I don't think it's the acting, because Millie Bobby Brown has been able to act Eleven very well in these past seasons. I think the way they are writing her, she's so emotionless. She's so separate from everything in the group. She no longer feels like a person. And here's the thing. In season 1, she was very alien. She wasn't human because she's been literally stuck in a lab her whole life. Like, of course she's not going to be normal. Of course she's not going to act human. But we've seen her kind of grow and progress and approach a more normal human existence throughout these past seasons, like especially in her speech. I think they really do her speech very well in progressing it little by little each season, so you can feel like she's actually living in this world and growing and becoming more of a functioning human being. I feel like they kind of ran that back this season. Like, I think her speech progressed and like she sounds more close to a normal human, but she doesn't act normal. It doesn't make sense how she's acting emotionally. Like, we're getting no emotion out of her. It just isn't the same Elle that we've seen. It isn't. And especially because it's clear that, I'm sorry, Maleven is not happening. I don't know that Byler's happening either, I'm gonna be honest. But Maleven is definitely not happening the way they're framing it in these couple episodes. Like, they are so not romantic, and it's clear that Elle needs to be on her own. But I don't like the way she's showing emotions, and it also seems like she's so separate from the plot. Like, she's kind of been doing her own thing, and like, I don't think they're connecting her into the story well, and I really don't like what they're doing with her character. That's the moral of the story. I don't like what they're doing with her character. And she's one of the best characters in the show. She's one of the central characters. So I don't know why. Anyway, now that I've just rambled on, it's been 20 minutes. This video is going to be way too long, and it's just me fucking talking. Hope you like the sound of my voice. Alright, we went through the good, we went through the bad. Let's get to the ugly. First off, and I know many of you are going to disagree with me on this, feel free to disagree, but I fully believe that if Byler doesn't happen, this has been extremely bad writing for the whole show. Because, well, let's just say it makes Mike a bad character. Because I probably should make a Byler video, although so many people already have. There are so many moments where Mike clearly treats his girlfriend like shit. He acts weird. There are so many things that he does that don't make sense unless it's building to Byler. For them to not build to Byler means they have been writing the show so horribly. And all I will say is that if Will was a girl, y'all wouldn't question Byler. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. Y'all don't think you're homophobic, but you are. Stranger Things was meant to be a show for outcasts. It was meant to be a show for the weird kids. It got really big, and now normal people are fucking watching it. Now homophobes are fucking watching it. If Will was a girl, y'all would totally be shipping it. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Let's talk about the lack of stakes. We see so many characters get into near-death situations and then not die. Hopper, Jonathan and Nancy, Steve, so many of them have chances where they probably should have died, but they don't. It's horrible. It's feeling like plot armor is really serving these characters. And in a show where the directors have talked about, like, oh, people are gonna die, like, this is gonna be a dramatic season, I don't appreciate that. I feel like I'm being babied. It feels like the writers don't think that I can handle a character death. It feels like they are trying to keep everyone happy. That's not how you write a good show. It's just not. And especially, I already talked about it with Jonathan and Nancy. One of them or both of them should have died. That didn't make sense. Like, no deaths. I don't appreciate it. And, like, no one's even grievously hurt in this. Like, at least last volume, we got the Wheelers getting brutally attacked. Like, when we see Mrs. Wheeler's body, like, that has huge emotional impact. When we see Nancy looking down, before we even see her body, we see Nancy's, like, horrified stare. That has huge emotional impact. We don't get anything like that this season. We don't get anything like that this volume. We literally get no emotional stakes, and it really kills the vibe. The next major issue, we're at, like, Avengers Endgame level of characters. Like, by the time everybody's rounded up, we've got the Byers, Will, Joyce, Jonathan. We've got the Wheelers, Nancy, Mike. Holly's not there, but she's a character. Then with Holly, we've got all those other kids. And really the only one we know much about is Derek. And then we've got Dustin, we've got Steve, we've got Robin, we've got Lucas, we've got Max, we've got Murray, we've got Hopper, we've got Elle, we've got Kali, we've got, I feel like I'm forgetting, Mr. Clark, Erica. There are so many people. It's too many characters, and that is part of why the writing is, like, so sloppy to me, is because they're trying to give everybody a storyline. They're trying to get everybody involved. And I feel like we could have cut this in half. Like, when they bring Mr. Clark in, like, yeah, that's a fun character, that's a fun throwback. I don't think they needed to bring him into this season, because honestly, I like what they're doing with the character, but it's just one too many. Additionally, like, I'm sure they're going to do something with Kali, but right now they haven't. So bringing her back from the worst episode of all time, that's a choice. It's certainly a choice. So overall, it's just too many characters, and we cannot get good plots for all of them. It's too much. It's too much. And if they had killed people off, we could deal with it, but they don't. And the final thing on this ugly list is it just does not feel like earlier seasons. With the amount of CGI, with the difference in tone, with the fact that some of these people are starting to look like Instagram models. Like, I'm sorry, Millie Bobby Brown no longer looks that much like 11. Like, I hate to say Instagram face, but Instagram face. Same with, like, Noah Schnapp. Instagram face. Like, and also, these actors and actresses are getting older. Like, Erica playing the age, the actress for Erica, Priya, playing the age that she's playing. She's, like, 18, and she's playing, like, a 12-year-old? And I'm sorry, but it doesn't, like, no, it's not really believable. Same with, like, all the kids Holly's age. Like, I think they're supposed to be, like, 10? That doesn't look like a 10-year-old. And the young actress is playing the role lovely. Like, she's doing an amazing job. Like, all of those. They just don't convincingly look as young as they're supposed to. But, like, even, like, Steve and Robin and, like, Nancy and Jonathan, I'm looking at these people and it's like, I know you're in your 30s. And you're playing, like, young 20-somethings. It's not convincing anymore. It's not. Overall, the vibe just isn't the same. It feels like a completely different show, and granted, I know a lot of things have changed, and it's the final season, but it feels nothing like the show it has been. It's so different, and I can't, like, get invested in it anymore. But that's that. So that's the ugly. Now let's talk about the characters they fucking nerfed. And by nerfed, I mean these characters disappeared, these characters got dumbed down, or whatever else. I just don't think they were utilized. Hopper. We have the really emotional moment at Volume 1 with the bomb. And then he doesn't die. Which already, like, really? I think he's gonna die by the end, but... And then we start Volume 2 with a little bit of drama between him and Elle over that. Like, what do you mean you had a bomb? Like, she's freaking the fuck out. With good reason. And then that just disappears. And we don't really deal with it anymore. In fact, he barely has any lines. He barely exists, which is part of the endgame problem. Like, too many people, but he barely exists. And, like, after such a big moment in Volume 1, payoff is not there. The payoff is not there, and that we have so little time to finish things up. I don't like it. Number 2, Robin. She kind of just exists to make jokes, and I feel like she's been delegated to, like, the gay sidekick. Hate to say it. Like, I did love some of the stuff we got with her and Vicky. I really enjoyed that, for sure. But, again, like, I feel like they're dumbing her down a little bit, and they're making her the gay sidekick, and I don't like that. Next, Erica. It's just, like, she's always been very much a side character, but I find myself questioning, like, what are you doing here a lot this season? And she's very much comic relief, but I feel like we're past the point of having characters that are just comic relief, and I don't feel like they're building enough of a emotional core with her. Every time I speak, my jaw pops, and I can hear it. I don't like that. Murray also has, like, nothing to do in Volume 2. He barely had anything to do in Volume 1. I honestly don't think we needed him that much this season, but fine, whatever. All he does is call Mr. Clark Schnookums. And I'm sorry, it wasn't that funny. It wasn't a bit we needed. Like, it just distracts from things. Mike. Don't even get me started on how much of a nothing burger Mike is. If they don't make Byler happen, Mike's character is nothing. And especially, like, he ain't doing shit this season, and it's really starting to show. And it's like Volume 1, I feel like he had more of a purpose. I liked what they were going, but no, they did not do well this volume. He barely exists, and he's one of the main characters. It's bad. Also, we barely got any Derek, and I loved Dipshit Derek in Volume 1. And honestly, the kid who was acting him, like, did an amazing job. But obviously, we didn't need to get much from that character. I just felt like we got so much in Volume 1, and I was really hoping for a little bit of Derek in Volume 2, because he was a great addition to the cast, I feel like. And also to add someone on this year and then not utilize them in half of the season is iffy, but whatever. Not gonna worry about them. But yeah, those are the main characters. Now, obviously, several other characters got handed the short end of the stick, but those were the ones I saw get the worst treatment. Other than that, so those are my main thoughts. I would love to expand on any of those if you want to hear more on my thoughts. I don't know why anyone would want to hear more of my thoughts. But if you would like to, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I can make another video. I am most definitely going to make a video talking about why I think Byler can still happen and should still happen. But other than that, that's going to be today's video. What are your thoughts on Volume 2? Did you like it? I enjoyed it for the entertainment value. Honestly, like, I had fun watching it. It just was not good. I have to say, it objectively was not good. But if you loved it, that is fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear what everybody else's thoughts are. And yeah, that's it. This is my YouTube channel where I post literally whatever I want. There is no theme. Not at all. Maybe someday there will be, but we're still getting there. But yeah, that's it.